Hey there folks, thanks for joining. Today we're going to talk about tasks by planner and to-do. I'm currently in Teams right now, and if I want to go ahead and add this functionality to Teams, I can click on the ellipsis, and in the Find an App area here, I can type in tasks by planner, and you can see it shows up at the top of the list. Now since I've already been using it, it will show up here in my recent items, and I can go ahead and click on it, which will take me to the tasks by planner and to-do functionality. Now since I'm in it, I can actually right click on this here and select a pin, and that way this will always show up on my left hand navigation here. Now if we take a look at the task link, these are basically going to be my individual tasks, things that are for me to be aware of and things that I would like to either personally or work related keep track of and make sure that I get accomplished here. Okay. The shared plans down below are shared team tasks or group tasks, and they're going to be part of other projects in Planner. Going back to tasks, if I were to enter in a few tasks here, for instance, I need to buy some winter boots, and I need to get groceries. Now I have a couple of items in my list. And if I were to go ahead and click on one of these items, for instance, buy winter boots, you'll notice that there are some items up here that can be set for this particular item. For instance, I can update the progress, determine and show whether it's not started or completed. I can update the priority. Currently it's at medium. I can change it to important. I can also specify a due date. For instance, maybe this is going to be due by Friday. Save that, and now that due date is going to show up here. And if I click on this ellipsis here, I can see a couple of other items I can take care of. I can move it. Moving it would allow me to move it to a personal list, or I can delete this item. You also have an ellipsis over here to the right, basically giving us the same functionality that we had previously across the top. If I double click on this item, you'll notice that there are things that I can do with this. Again, some of the things are repetitive. I can change the priority here if I need to, specify the due date. I can add notes, and I can also have a checklist of items here as well. For instance, if there's a number of steps, I can put step 1, 2, and that way that can keep track of items that need to be accomplished in order to close out this one task. You can really look at those potentially as being subtasks, right? Subtasks to a summary tasks within a project schedule. Now when a task is complete, I can actually go ahead and click directly on this radio button. It will change that task to complete, and you'll notice that it disappeared from the view here. That is because our view's only filtering for active tasks. If I were to change the selection to completed, you notice that'll bring this task into view, and if I wanted to clear that completion, I could click on that again, change to all active, and now I can see that the tasks in my to-do list are both showing up as they were previously. You'll notice in the top right I have a filter drop down. This will allow me to filter based on a keyword I enter here, or filter on whether or not the due date that I specify for an item is late, due, or due sometime in the future. And I can also choose to filter based on the priority of the item. Now in to-do.office.com, in the to-do interface, we can take a look at this. I can go ahead and specify to click on my tasks, and here are those items that we saw before. So again, if I wanted to specify that there's actually a due date for get groceries, what we're going to notice is that will automatically change this item to being something that's planned. Currently I have 5 items that are planned. If I were to click on that, I can see I have some tasks within a project, winter boots, etc. If I go back to tasks, I want to change get groceries. We can go ahead and specify a due date here, and I'll just make that due date next week, and we'll notice that the plan will go from 5 to 6 here, and there, now it changed. So if I were to select that, I can see that in addition to buy winter boots, I also have get groceries, which are specified to be completed and planned. If I select one of these tasks, a dialog pops up on the right. I can do some similar items that I could in the other interface in Teams. I can go ahead and add various steps, which will be like subtasks. I can add this item to my day, and if you notice there's a my day item here, these are things that I should be concerned with now. Click on that, it'll change from 2 to 3, and now that item is added and something I should be concerned with today. I can change my due date, I can repeat this, and I can also pick a category here. Right, so if I want to assign it to a particular category, I can do that. And of course I can add a file if I need to. Now if I right click the task, you notice there are very similar things I can perform that we saw in that dialog box, right? So I can specify whether it's not part of my day, whether it's important. I can click that item. I can also change the due date. A couple of other things I can do that I couldn't do on the dialog box is I can move it, and I can also copy this task to specific lists that have been created previously. Now in my Outlook interface, looking at my emails, if you wanted to flag an email and have that show up on your to-do list as well, you can do that. You can actually directly right-click on the flag here, and you can specify when this item is due as well. For instance, if I were to specify this is due tomorrow, now I can go back to my to-do list, and if I go to my planned items, I should see that that item is actually showing up, and here it is for tomorrow. Remember, we set it for tomorrow. You have tasks to do. I can select this item here to complete it. I can right click on it. I can add it to my day, so it'll show up as something I should be focused on today. I can mark it as important. I can also mark it as completed and do a number of other tasks to this item while I am in it. Back in the Teams interface, here I can choose to add a list or a plan. If I create in my tasks, this will just be a personal list for me. If I choose to add it as something that's shared, if I click the drop down, this will allow me to select teams that are already existing and add it to one of these channels in these teams. So for instance, if I select the Mark 8 project team and then I select the marketing channel, all right, I can give this a name and we'll call this Marketing Initiative, and we'll click Create. And it'll take a moment to go ahead and create the plan in that channel, and then we can begin to add tasks to it. And there we go, the screen's refreshing, and we can see we have Marketing Initiative, and it's on the marketing channel, part of the Mark 8 project team. And at this point I can start doing and entering some tasks in here. For instance, do market research, document findings, right? And I can add many more tasks here. Once these tasks are in place, I can go ahead and click directly on the name, and I can actually start assigning people to this project. We'll assign Barbara, those people. We're going to leave it in the to-do bucket for now. Is it started or not? What's the priority? Well, we can make this important. When's it supposed to start? Sometime in March. It's going to finish in April of some time. Go ahead and select that. You can add notes. You can add a checklist to these. You can add an attachment, comments, and when you're complete, you can go ahead and select the X here. And now you can see document findings has several people assigned, exclamation point for the priority, and a due date of 4/1. And here's an example of another project I've entered a number of tasks in. And we're currently in the board view, and I have things grouped by bucket. In my case, I created buckets that correspond with the deliverables, and they do actually execute in a waterfall fashion from left to right. General conditions takes place first. Finalize the plans of the house, sign a contract, secure permits. The second deliverable due will be site work, where they'll install temporary power and underground utilities. The third stage or deliverable in this project is where we start excavating for the foundations, form the walls, pour the walls and the floors, let them cure and then remove, and complete the rest of the project in that same order. The reason I put numbers in front of those stages is to allow them to sort in the correct order as well. For instance, if I were to change to a list view, you can see that the buckets sort in the proper order that I want them to. Again, waterfall project from top to bottom. Okay. Same thing with charts. If I want to see some views that show me reporting of this particular project, I can go to the chart view, see the status of tasks, see the status by buckets, by priority, can see the members in the bottom, and along the right I can see the actual tasks here like a board, just sorted by, again, those stages that I put in place here. The schedule view is going to allow me to go ahead and view this information. I can view tasks when they're taking place, over what days. I can also change to a week view if that's better for me, show me things in more detail. Okay. If I go back to my board view, you'll notice that not only can I group by bucket, I can also group by assigned to. If that makes more sense, I want to see who's assigned to what tasks in the project. By due date, if I want to see when things are coming due. By the different labels. And I use labels in this case to specify whether tasks are on hold, they're active, able to be completed, canceled completely, or proposed. And again, I just used it as a mechanism to actually filter, filter and group the project tasks, right? If I click on one of the tasks, I'll be brought into the detailed information for it. And it's in here where I can specify what the tag is. It's also in here that I can assign more individuals to the project or remove assigned individuals from the project, change the bucket. I can change the progress, whether it's started or not. I can change priority, change the start and the due dates, enter in a note, add a checklist if necessary, attachments, and then finally comments at the end. So there's a number of things that I can take care of that particular view as well. All right, well, hopefully, folks, this helped out and gave you a little bit of information about tasks by Planner and To Do. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to hear from you.